Welcome to the Christmas episode of Como Music Creation, where today we're going to construct a song from scratch using nothing but the free tools provided to us by a few very gracious companies, and of course my DAW of choice, Logic Pro. I'll do my best to use the TH2, which is Acustica Audio's Christmas gift to all of us, for the bass, the drums, and pretty much every other part I can think of. Then I'm going to use some free delays, compressors, and EQs to get the song to sit right in a mix. I'll also take a look at a free AI program to replace my voice, which is still currently a little hoarse. I have literally no idea how this is going to go, but I am limiting myself to just these free tools from Acustica Audio, as I mentioned, Wave Alchemy, Analog Obsession, Kazrog, Kilohearts, and the AI site Audimee. I think I'm saying that right. All of these tools will be used to craft a song centered around a Santa Claus who actually doesn't like cookies and milk. Rather, he prefers different types of cheese. This should be interesting. So I hope this Christmas episode can help fill you with joy for this holiday season. Now let's get going. Okay, so the first generous gift that we're going to look at is from Acustica Audio. It's called TH2, and let's check it out. So the 2 probably stands for 2 notes. It's duophonic, meaning that you can't play more than 2 notes at a time. But that's okay. While this is a fully functioning plugin, it's sort of an advertisement for its bigger brother, the TH8 and THS, which are modern takes on the Roland Jupiter 8, which was pretty much on every single recording in the 80s. Anyways, let's look for a good bass sound, and I'll just go to Acustica's favorites to start with. There we go. Since I'm going to be pretty much limited to synths on this video, I'm going to do a hip-hop song. Let's get it started. Let's see what happens. All right, I'm going to mess around with this, fix it up a little bit, quantize it, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I just made an 8-bar loop and doubled it up. So this will be our bass layer, our bass of the song. But I think I'm going to stack this sound, so I'm going to make another instance of TH2, and I'll use a more sub-bass sound on that. So on this particular one, I'm going to take out all the low end, which I just did. Okay, so I found the sub-bass that I'm looking for, and I'm just going to take the first MIDI region and duplicate it to this track. All right, but I'm still not satisfied with my end result on my bass part, so I'm going to mess around a little bit more and see what I can come up with. Okay, so I added some more ear candy in the bass region with a few other instances of TH2, and then I just added some channel EQs from the DAW to blend them all together. See, I'm not cheating. I'm using stock plugins. And then I just added some pan automation, and here's what we got so far. I mean, honestly, the quality of this synth is making me rethink buying TH8. I was actually going to skip it, but I might not be able to control myself. Okay, so the next step is to try to mimic some drums with the TH2. But first I'm going to introduce my next free plugin, and it is called Magic 7. And this is a freebie from Wave Alchemy. And it's kind of crazy that it's free because it's a recreation of the Bricasti M7, which is a pretty expensive piece of hardware. It's a rack mount reverb unit. I actually have a lot of experience with the original one, and this thing just sounds great. I mean, especially since it's free, everybody should own this. And I placed it on the bells and whistles tracks on the bass, and especially on that stab, it gives it this kind of 80s robotic feeling. But let's get back to adding some drum sounds. All right, so I found these 2 settings and then tweaked them a little bit. That's like a nice little knock. And then some destruction in the bottom. And you layer them together. Sounds great. So while I was at it, I went ahead and did the kick and the snare at the same time. And while I did find sort of a snare drum sound, sounds more like a bongo, but I wasn't really able to get like a super snary kind of thing going. So instead, what I did was, keeping within the parameters of working for free, I made a white noise track inside of Logic. So I made a new audio track, put a test tone on it to make a white noise sound. After that, I put a gate, because if the gate isn't there, then you're just going to have white noise over your entire song. So you enable that gate and it gets rid of it. And then in the gate, in the side chain, you choose your snare drum track. In this case, the TH2 track. And then I just EQ'd that. And this is what you get. It only triggers on the snare. And that helps it sound more like a snare. All right, moving on. I need some hi-hats. I'll make a little pattern and I'll be right back. All right, so of course I made another instance of TH2 and found this preset and tweaked it a little bit. Even if you've never used one of these synth plugins before, just fiddling around with these sliders, they're very intuitive and you can hear the effect of them very easily. So I made this little pattern. Here's the drums. Then with the bass. Cool. Okay, so next up, I just made some toms and a quote-unquote cymbal. That's my cymbal. I mean, I just got to say it again. They did a really good job with this synthesis. Sounds a lot better than a lot of other software synths. Okay, let's see how this sounds. Oh, we're going all the way back to the 80s. I love it. What's next? Oh, well, anyways, while I was making the kick and the snare drum, I also dialed in the third plugin that I'm going to introduce today. And it's from Analog Obsession. Now, you could say that all of this guy's plugins are gifts to the world because they are free. However, he has a Patreon. And if you find that you use these plugins a lot and you really like them, just give him some... You can just throw him like $5 a month or even just $5 a month and then unsubscribe or something. Anyways, he's a super generous developer. His free plugins rival paid options, so they're great. This one in particular is an emulation of an SSL bus compressor, and I placed it on the drums, and I'm also going to use it on my main output. But so far, I have it on the drums, and then the bass, I have a different compressor from Analog Obsession. This is their emulation of an 1176 compressor from Universal Audio. And again, it sounds comparable to paid-for models. On the drums, I just have it mixed in for some parallel compression. And that's just like gluing things together on the bass bus. All right, well, since it looks like I'm making sort of like an 80s rap song, and it's Christmas time, I had this idea where suppose Santa saves his best gifts for those who don't give him milk and cookies, they give him cheese instead. Santa is a cheese connoisseur in this idea of mine, and he saves his best presents for those who are in the know. Now, I did go ahead and write these lyrics beforehand, but I'm just going to make them fit into this format because I didn't even have a beat going when I was writing them. So let me just do that. This will take too long to film it, so I'll do that and be right back. Okay, so actually I engaged ChatGPT's help. However, I didn't have it write the lyrics for me. I still don't like AI lyrics like at all. I think they're just generic. So what I did, oh no, it's gone. Shoot, I didn't log in. Well, anyways, what I did, I just asked it to make a list of different types of cookies, then make a separate list of different types of cheese, and then I asked it to cross-reference each list and look for rhymes. So which cookie rhymes with which cheese? And from that, I made these lyrics. A lot of noise on your stereo this Christmas Eve, but don't leave Santa cookies. Santa wants that cheese. Don't leave Santa biscotti. Santa wants that brie. Don't leave Santa blondies. Santa just wants that cheese. Etc., etc. Now, as some of you might know, I recently lost my voice completely, so I can't really do much right now with it. But I'm going to make a guide vocal. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace my voice with a rapper's for free. All right, so here's what I have. I can't even listen to it. Okay, so I'm going to take this file, I'm going to export it into a WAV file, and then I'm going to upload it onto this website. So let's do that. Okay, so here's the site. It's called Audimee, and it actually did a really good job. There's a page where you can just literally take the file that you want to replace and dump it in, and it analyzes it, and then you can choose from a list of people. A lot of these are paid for, so you need to upgrade. So I just chose Joey. It says hip hop processed, and that's pretty much what I want. So I did that, and then I can just download the MP3. I don't know if you pay an upgrade, you can download a WAV file, but whatever. This song is just for fun, so an MP3 is fine. All right, let's import it into the project. Just dump it in, and it should line up with everything else, and it does. All right, so I'm going to mess with it a little bit, and I'll be right back. All right, so I did that. Let's get rid of this voice. My old voice. And then I went ahead and I just routed everything to the master bus. And I put another instance of the Analog Obsession plugin. And then I took another Analog Obsession plugin. And then I just did like a rough mix stereo bus master EQ. And then I took another free tool called the K-Clip 0. And I put it on the snare drum. And it was a little peaky. It was poking too much. So I just calmed that down with the K-Clip. And this is a clipper plugin, and it literally just lops off the peaks when you want it to. And I didn't go too crazy with it. As you can see, it has this nice little readout graph to show you what your gain reduction, how much clipping you're doing. All right, so let's see how Joey did.
A lot of noise on your stereo on this Christmas Eve. But don't leave Santa cookies. Santa just wants that cheese.
Okay, that sounds cool, but it's obviously mixed a little hot. So I'm just going to set up a little effects chain, maybe another instance of Magic 7, a delay, and do some EQing. I don't really need much compression. It's pretty much already compressed. So I'll see what I can work with. All right, so it's finished. Despite him being an MP3, Joey did a pretty good job. So I did actually use another instance of the Analog Obsession fetish on his voice, and then I had to calm it down a little bit with just some channel EQ.
A lot of noise on your...
And then I ran it to an effects bus, and on this, I have another free plugin, the Kilohearts delay. And the reason why I really like this is because it has a ducking feature. So whenever the voice is actually singing, the delay is ducked in volume, so it doesn't overpower the main voice. This is part of the Kilohearts Essentials bundle, and it's free to everyone, and it has, I think, 30 plugins inside of it. So definitely check that out. All you got to do is put an email address in there, and you're good to go. And then I followed that up with another instance of Magic 7, and these are just mixed in with the dry signal, because I wanted to stack them on top of each other so that the delay can cascade into the reverb. And this is what you get.
A lot of noise on your stereo on this Christmas Eve. But don't leave Santa cookies. Santa just wants that cheese.
A little callback. And here's the final result of a bunch of instances of the free TH2, some free stuff from Analog Obsession, the free Magic 7 Bricasti, Kilohertz delay, K-clip on the snare, and just some channel EQ that comes with every DAW, and a little bit of creativity on my part.
A lot of noise on your stereo on this Christmas Eve. But don't leave Santa cookies. Santa just wants that cheese. Don't leave Santa biscotti. Santa just wants that brie. Don't leave Santa blondies. Santa just wants that cheese. Ain't no 7-layer cookie for Santa. Santa just wants that cheddar. And don't ask me for proof. Just listen to those reindeer on your roof. So if you want to receive the best gift, then listen to this and follow my advice. Instead of chocolate chip, just give 'em cheese dip, and Christmas will be real nice.
From Como Music Creation, Merry Christmas, everyone, and a happy holidays to you. And a happy New Year as well. I hope you make some great music with these free tools that these excellent companies have provided to us. And while some of them are advertisements for bigger brother products, some of these companies run purely off donations. So if you can dig down deep into your heart this Christmas, maybe show them a little love as well. Thanks again for tuning in. As always, I hope you learned something or have at least been entertained. And I will see you next time.